OK, Nieve is in the hot seat now. The Saturday Social whiteboard is out in all its glory. We're going to talk transfers, Joe.
Of course we are. We have to talk transfers. Nieve, you're going to be picking one player that each Premier League club should sign this summer. Let's start with Arsenal, shall we?
So I've gone with Antoine Semenyo.
It's an interesting shout.
Yeah, and I think it comes from a position of Arsenal. Obviously, there's talk of them scoring more goals and having a presence in the box. But I also notice with them that there's almost like they take the sting out of their own attacks sometimes, and maybe they could be a little bit quicker at getting the ball from defence to attack. And I think Semenyo's like very, very good at that on the transition. Like he drives forward with power and speed, and he really likes having a go and just shooting. And I think they could do with a player who's just going to, do you know what, I'm just going to have a shot.
Yeah, it's an interesting shout. All right, let's get him up. Antoine Semenyo
player
for Arsenal.
player that's linked, isn't it? Another Bournemouth potential ex after Dean Howson we saw.
Dean Howson's a Madrid's class, by the way.
Yeah.
I just mentioned
Wow,
that.
what a signing.
Next up, Villa. Wow.
Kudus.
Kudos.
This would be a punchy move, wouldn't it, for Aston Villa if they could get hold of Mo Kudus?
Yeah, but I mean, look at what they're fighting for in the division. This is the time to do it compared to West Ham. And I don't think Kudus has particularly had the best season at West Ham, but so it could be a time to like get a player because he's clearly got an awful lot of talent. And I don't know if they're going to keep Asensio or not. I don't know if the wage issue is something, but I think Kudus could almost provide that similar thing that Asensio provides in games where he floats around. He's got that level of arrogance, but in a good way, really good with the ball at his feet, and sort of just takes charge in games with a little bit of flair and skill, and just makes things happen. And I think Kudus could do that.
Wouldn't
Interesting
come
one.
cheap, though. Wouldn't
No,
come
I was going to say that.
Wouldn't
Wouldn't
be
be
release clause.
Yeah, I suppose. But West Ham, I
swapping
think,
claret and blue for the other
would
claret and
look
blue.
this could be somewhere where West Ham look to make a bit of money.
Yeah,
Okay,
OK.
stick him up.
It'd be a
Arsenal
great
stick up.
signing for Villa, I think. To be honest.
Let's go to the next one. Bournemouth, who have you gone for?
So this is on the idea of me getting rid of Semenyo for them.
Okay.
So
Semenyo leaves. This is a Semenyo replacement.
Yeah, perhaps. And he can play on the right as well, so he's a bit of a versatile player. He's a really good runner, which I think would suit Iraola, but he's also very calm as well on the ball. His goal in the Coppa Italia final just recently was a good example of that in the box. He just took a second to breathe and then was a really good shot. So yeah, but with them, left centre-back, left wing, we don't know who will stay, who will go.
I think it's going to be a summer transition for Bournemouth, isn't it? If they do potentially lose House and Kirkes.
I think there'll be a few players that will be leaving, but big
This
goal
is a
for him.
rogue
This
one.
is an interesting one
A rogue
because
one.
Before we get your take on this, let's see what you guys your immediate reaction to the idea of Brentford signing Dibbling.
Yeah, I think especially if you've got to look at what's probably going to happen with Mbeumo if he leaves, but as a right-sided winger, and you look at like a good stepping stone into a well-run club, a functioning, stable ship, a really good manager who improves players and gets the best out of players and can put an arm around a player in Thomas Frank. Yes, the immediate Mbeumo to Dibbling is a big disparity, but you look at the age of Tyler Dibbling and what he showed in a really, really poor
But is it not
Southampton
the
side.
age profile? Is it more the valuation? Because we've heard reports coming out of Southampton that they want 100 million.
Total rubbish.
Brentford can't
Impossible.
afford 100 million.
That's just a lie.
They might
can't.
want 100 million, but the reality is that they won't get
Yeah,
it.
they probably won't get it, but still, it's
in
not going
terms
to be a cheap player for a club like Brentford. So, do you think?
Great. Well, I mean, it depends on what the player wants as well. You can't force it. Well, you can, but it would be a shame for his development if he has to go down to the Championship. But I would say, actually, really sensible move.
Yeah.
Brentford, much better than going to Man United, for sure.
How much do you think that would be?
Or Spurs, to be fair.
Realistically, Nieve?
I don't know, but I feel like if the valuation's high and then suddenly nobody's interested, they have to bring the
Brings it down,
valuation
yeah.
lower.
Fair
I think that'd be a really good move.
Interesting shout here for Brighton.
Yeah, going with Johan Vasquez, and this is just on the idea of looking at that left-hand side. I really like Estupinian, and I like him to be unlocked so he can be the best he can be. And I'm looking at like Lewis Dunk being 33. Adam Webster's had injuries that have meant he only played 12 games this season. Igor Julio's had an injury as well. And he can play on the left back as well, so he's like a bit more depth there. And then this is a left centre back who I think is really brilliant at Genoa. They're quite a brave team. Like they start games on the front foot. He can sort of defend the space very well. He's a really good player, and it just adds a little bit of depth so they can continue consistently with what they want to do, Brighton, throughout the season.
Okay, let's get him up. We'll go to Chelsea.
Big player for Chelsea, and it's a former Chelsea player, one that's heavily linked with a lot of clubs, Mark Gahey.
Yeah, it's sort of trying to pick a player that suits the profile of being under 25, being young, being what they want. But then also he's a total leader. He's got bags of experience for club and country. He's a top player. He's got real good standards. He speaks really well. I just think he'd be an exemplary player.
Let's bring the lads in on this one. He's linked with, obviously, Chelsea in the past, Newcastle, Tottenham. Where do you both see, if he was to leave, him end up going?
I think he'd probably be better suited going to United, just because there's a back three and he'd slot straight in there. I don't think he starts ahead of Van der Ven, so yeah, probably better for United.
For me, on the ball, it's still a little bit wanting for me with Gay. I think actually Newcastle would have been perfect for him, because I think if you look at the spine of Newcastle, through Isak and Gamirez and Tonali, and then, you know, big, strong centre-halves, and if he could get in there, that is like an Eddie Howe signing. They play on the front foot, they play aggressive, don't have to be that technical. I think you'd be suited. I can see why they really wanted him. And Chelsea, I think Chelsea need a dominant centre-half as well, that's consistent as well. Levi Colwill's trying to find his feet, multiple injuries to Fofana, Badiashield's not up to it. I don't know. Yeah, I like that. I like.
I mean, he's ex-Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
He's only got a year left in his contract, so these 75 million bids from Newcastle, I think the fee will probably be a bit lower now. I think that's a really interesting shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Palace.
Yes, I've gone with Tom Fellows. Palace are a club that they love looking into the EFL, which I think is brilliant. You should be doing that. You think like Elise, Wharton, Eze, Will Hughes.
Romain Esse recently?
Esse recently, yeah. So, and I think Tom Fellows could be another one that would really suit the way they play, because he plays on the right, but he can play kind of central as well, in the sense he drives forward the ball really quickly, really powerfully. And I think he'd link up really well with Eze. I think that it'd suit them. The style that Palace have got, sort of with Mateta as well. Sarr does a brilliant job in that too, the way they pass and they're direct and they're fast. He's got all the qualities that would suit that kind of team. So
that's a really good shout, that.
Yeah.
Really good shout. Joint most assists in the Championship this season as well. Having a great season. Really, really good season.
This next one's a rogue shout, I think.
It's a rogue shout.
Yeah, Liam Delap being linked to Everton. I think Flex, Manchester United heavily linked to the player as well. What do you make of this when you see Liam Delap?
I think this summer is a striker's market, right? There's a lot of teams that are looking for a striker. And when you look at market opportunities with the relegation clauses kicked in with Liam Delap being relegated with Ipswich at 30 million, it seems like a really good opportunity for so many teams. At United, if I'm honest, my worry is that we're getting another young 22-year-old, putting him under intense pressure. Has he shown more than Hoyland in the league? Yes, he has at Ipswich, yes. I think he's cleaner on the ball, better hold-up play, better feel for the game, better finisher. But I still want an experienced striker at United now. If they win the Europa League and get Champions League money, we can maybe shop in a different aisle. But I'm not against having him at Manchester United for 30 million. He could easily go to Everton. He could easily go to somewhere like Forest. Chelsea are potentially looking at him as well. So I think he's a really good opportunistic signing for a lot of clubs.
I mean, if Everton pull that off, that would be a massive, massive signing.
I think David Moyes' manager makes me think they could.
I think when you talk about the strikers market, like how much money strikers go for and that they're at a premium, there's very few attainable,
Delap's incredible.
Proven goal scorers.
30 million is a steal.
I think 30 million for Liam Delap, who's got 12 goals, 2 assists, and also his hold-up play, his all-round game. I think that is a bargain.
It is a bargain. I mean, market opportunity.
Screams
I
like.
think there'll be so many clubs in for him.
They probably won't do it, but Arsenal could do it with him. Like, they're desperate for a number 9. He's more than good enough.
It's just, I think 22 as well, by the way.
I genuinely think he's young and he's sort of domestic-based, that he doesn't get the credit.
You just still got to be careful, though, because it is one season. The expectation was really low at Ipswich.
But 30 million is
but it's a low-cost gamble.
Anyway,
exactly.
Let's go to the next player. It's another player potentially moving back to a full club.
Got booed last time he was there.
Yeah, well, I just think that he's got so much talent, hasn't he? But he's started one game this season for Liverpool. So I think there's a deal to be had there. And also it looks like Andreas Pereira might be leaving Fulham. So, and I think they've got similar sort of instinctive abilities on the ball, but I think Harvey Elliott would actually raise Fulham a little bit in terms of, I think his passing and creativity is one level above that. So, and also he's got such a high ceiling, and I just think it'd make total sense.
Okay, stick him down.
Yeah.
Next up, Liverpool.
Speaking of Liverpool.
Now, this is a big one, isn't it? Because Liverpool have been linked to a lot of players over the last few weeks. So, where are we suggesting? Wow, this is a rogue one.
You think?
Why would he leave
Bring him back
Atletico?
after one season?
Well, I think coming back to the Premier League, when he left City, don't quote me on this, but there was talk of Liverpool being interested then, and there was talk of Julian Alvarez being like well up for it. So I think, why would he leave Atletico? Well, to go to a club like Liverpool, I think that would be understandable. And I just think, is there a deal to be done with Darwin going the other way? I don't know. I feel like Simeone would quite like Darwin.
It's an interesting
and
one.
It'd be a statement signing too, I think, because I think clubs at that level of like Liverpool, and we've been sort of crying for Arsenal to do it. Well, maybe not you, in terms of taking a chance on like an elite level player who's going to like raise your game. And I feel like the level of risk is pretty low with someone like this.
How much would he cost though? I mean, Atleti paid £82 million for him 8 months ago.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
What's Nunes' worth if he goes the other way? If that's
His stock's fallen though.
40, 50 million
It
euros?
feels like it would be a huge fee though, Atletico would demand for a player who, he's scored 27 goals this season.
He's been incredible.
He's been quite imperative to the side. I'm going to raise another name as well. We just want to talk about him. Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting this is the name, but I wanted to bring him to the table because the talk this week has been between Liverpool, Man City, Bayern, Florian Wirtz heavy. So was he anywhere near your thinking when you were pitching Julian Alvarez?
Do you know, for Liverpool, it wasn't actually. I think there's other clubs that I feel like Wirtz perhaps could go to. Don't get me wrong, Wirtz would improve any team, but I think there's quite a lot of the squad where Liverpool could do with getting a few players. So that actually wasn't a position. That wasn't someone that I had in my mind. But I mean, if you make a signing like Wirtz, you're also stopping the other big teams from making that signing. So there's that benefit as well. But I think a striker is a more imperative signing for Liverpool right now. And with Julian Alvarez, you're bringing a goal scorer, but you're also bringing someone that will still complement Mo Salah, and so you continue to get the most out of him. I just think Julian Alvarez actually ticks quite a lot of boxes, and he's also really good at pressing too, which will suit Liverpool.
I agree with the profile, that more than like Liverpool, they need to get that striker sort out, and the fullbacks as well.
It's an interesting one. Florian Wirtz for City, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean,
heavily in there as well.
Imagine that, but I've not gone with him.
As well.
I can only, the idea of Rodri coming back, Wirtz being in that midfield, and this guy being in that midfield.
Wow.
Reijnders.
Yeah,
wow.
scary.
I've been flying the Reijnders flag for a long time.
Yeah, on this show in particular.
Yeah. And so the idea that City are interested in him, it makes me, I'm chuffed because I want to see him in the Premier League because he's so easy to watch. He's just, the best way I can describe him is he is the perfect midfielder. Like, I'm trying to think of an element of his game as a midfielder that he's not good at, and I can't think of one. And he's playing in a team for Milan who are littered with inconsistency, but he's like a consistent presence, and he's always a presence. When Milan are doing something, he's there, he's involved. And he's up, down, he's got such an engine, but he's just got such lovely, just clean ability on the ball.
He's a very complete player, isn't he? Best scoring season of his career, 18 goals for club and country, but also most interceptions for AC Milan in Serie A this season. I think it's a great shout, that one. Before we reveal your Manchester United pick, let's go to Flex. Which position do you think United need to strengthen the most?
We only get one magnet, unfortunately. So and it's probably tough for Nieve because really she could have picked any position in this free.
Any position you think?
Any position. The 10s, the 9, the wing backs, another centre half, the midfielders, the goalkeeper. Honestly, it could have been either. So, and actually, a lot of United fans this season, it's what we've got to talk about. If we have little infights about what actually is the priority, I tell you what, Onana's become such a problem now. We just need to get a new goalkeeper no matter what. I'll take having Højlund up front if it means Onana doesn't throw the ball in the back of the net. Or it becomes, no, I tell you what, Rasmus Højlund's got a goal, we can't score. I'll take keeping Onana if it means we can get Osimhen. It changes weekly. So, I'm interested to see what Nieve's pick is, but I'll probably agree with it because we need everything.
There you go.
Yeah, I've gone with Miles Fala, goalkeeper, because like you said, I didn't really know where to start in terms of outfield players. So I've gone with a goalkeeper, and I think this could be a clever signing to make because he's having a bit of a breakthrough season in that, like, it's his best season yet. And maybe in a couple of seasons' time, the price tag would be less palatable. But he's just like, he's a cat. like his reflexes are outrageous, and because his reflexes are so good, when he makes the saves, he parries them into really good areas. I've noticed.
How refreshing is that to hear, Joe?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? A parry to safety. Brilliant.
And also his ability to be a sweeper keeper as well is great, and I think that suits a lot of teams now.
Onana
Racing
looked good in
behind.
Italy as well, didn't he?
Yeah. That's a good point, Flav.
What are you saying?
And look great in the Champions
Onana and Vicario looked really good in Italy as well, didn't they?
Alisson looked good in Italy too, so you can use that argument both sides.
that is-
yeah.
Next up, really good
Great
shout this, by the way. Really good shout for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Brian and
Yeah.
Bremer, I can see this in an Eddie Howe
this out
system. Great season and a very Newcastle-ish players. Brentford won't want to say in that, but
Yeah.
I think this is a good shout.
But I think the the levels they keep raising to throughout the season,
Yeah.
they're making, Champions League, you just got to raise the levels. Do you know what I
overtake
mean?
Arsenal if
Yeah.
they beat them this
They
week.
beat 'em, yeah.
Absolutely.
If they beat Arsenal today, it's in their hands. to
Finish
You
second.
look
Would that
at
mean
this-
Arsenal finished third in a 2-horse race? So just still Tottenham.
Let's go back to Mboma.
Sorry.
If you look at Newcastle's team, I mean, I've always said that it's one of the most balanced teams in the league. But on paper, the quality that they've got is just ridiculous. And I just think, make the most of it. Let's take it to a whole new level. I think the way Gordon and Isak work together means that right-hand side, there's always like a free man. Jacob Murphy's absolutely benefited from that, and he's thriving.
What season is
But in Mbeumo, it takes you to a whole new level, and suddenly that front three is just unbelievable. And like you say, he's covered. The only player that's covered more ground than him in the league this season is Bruno Guimaraes. So it's graft as well as quality.
Scary
18
hours.
goals,
Too
7
many
assists.
If Mbumo goes there, mate.
Forest, we've got.
Now you've got Delap again.
So stick him up. I mean,
Yeah.
the debate around Delap obviously is going to rage all summer.
Yeah.
isn't it? I do think that'd be a
So
great
we've got
shout.
same player twice, which is okay. Yeah, I can see he's suited to both. But again, let's come to Flav, similar to what we did with Flex with Spurs.
Yeah.
Before Nieve reveals who she's got, which area do you think Spurs need to strengthen the most?
Probably a 6 in midfield. I'd say that the midfield's been an issue for Tottenham this season, partly down to the tactics, but also the personnel and someone who's strong in there and able to play football and be comfortable receiving the ball in difficult areas. That would be kind of what I'd be looking at.
Yes, and that's where I've got a player,
Perfection, literally.
Look at that, seamless link.
Sensational.
Nicola Ravella.
And he looks a bit like Luka Modric, which is a great sign for Spurs, isn't it? He was not a bad player.
He does. I mean, it's hard to compare them, but he plays sort of similar in the way that he plays. Finds his passes. He's comfortable taking the ball. His aggression as well. I know he's picked up a fair few yellow cards this season, but it would be a sensational signing. Is it likely? I doubt it.
I think he's on a 2-year loan from Juve, isn't he?
Yeah,
So, if that deal gets done to Lazio, is it a buy to sell?
Yeah, no, there is an obligation in that deal,
Yeah.
But
but
expected to sign, yeah.
it's dependent on certain things. But Paratici is returning to Tottenham by all accounts. If anyone can get something mental done, it's him. So.
Yeah. I think he's at any club like Ravella would really suit Spurs because what I'd say he's been one of the best players in Serie A for this season is just putting out the fires, so just being there, just as Lazio lose the ball. And because they've got, who's been in the online world, Nuno Tavares has had a really good season and it's popped up and then 8 assists and then Luca Pellegrini's gone in there and he's had 4 and Zaccagni on left wing's also been brilliant. And it's actually because they've got a facilitator who lets them go and do what they need to do. He'll tell players go on, get yourself up the pitch and he'll cover for them. And if they lose the ball, he'll be there. And I think that's where Spurs have really lacked is that anticipation of if we lose the ball, my left back's here, or this player's there, and we've got to sprint back. Whereas if
like
you've
an
got
insurance-
someone who
it's like
can
an
keep it a bit calmer,
An insurance plan, isn't it?
sensible.
Yeah, I
But
would
it's weird
adore
because
that.
it kind of goes. Listen, we'll see what happens with Ange, but that type of player kind of goes against his philosophy, which is weird of having calm.
I think he's good enough on the ball to be able to do it as well. I don't think he improves most squads in the Premier League.
I think it's a good shout, that one. Let's go to West Ham. Who are you going for West Ham?
Wow.
CJ Egan-Riley. Okay.
Yeah.
It
Well,
looks like he's actually going to Strasbourg.
Yeah, it looks like he's
potentially,
going there.
Apparently, David Sullivan has got in touch and said, "Don't go. Come to West Ham instead." I think he said those exact words as well.
He's had an amazing season, to be fair, with Burnley, isn't it?
Him and Esteva have been one of the best centre-back partnerships the Championship has seen.
Defensively, they've
And
been
on a front,
Burnley, been incredible
Wolves?
defensively this season.
Yeah. Well, Paul Nabel, so when I saw the success Mainz have had, I just had a little look at them. And quite a lot of them I really like all, but him and Amiri stuck out to me. And I thought this could be a potential Cunha replacement if they sold him. Because he's good with both feet, he floats around the attack. He's the player that's saying, you pass there, you pass there. And I think the way that Mainz play, it's very much quick precision, direct passing. You've got to think quickly when you make your pass. So I think that would lend itself to the Premier League.
Okay, stick them up. For those wondering why there's 19, obviously this is for next season, so there's currently 17 Premier League clubs, and they're the 2 promoted clubs we know about. So let's do the pair together. The 2 promoted clubs, Leeds and Burnley. Who have you gone for?
Kelleher for Leeds, and I've gone with Jack Rodoni for Burnley.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelleher, I think, would be an unbelievable signing. If they could make that happen, like to have that level of confidence and assurance at the back in this season would be really good. And then Rodoni, I think the way Coventry play, getting the ball wide, putting a lot of crosses in. Rodoni's a midfielder, but he's creative, but he floats into the box. So I think it's tough when you're a team coming up to have a goal scorer, so you can get a midfielder that gets into the box and could help that. It could help them.
21 goal involvements this season for Cov.
Unbelievable.
Jack Rodoni. What a second half of the season.
I enjoyed that, Nieve. Some great shouts. As always, there is confirmation of 1 player every Premier League club must sign this summer. According to Nieve, let us know what you think of those selections at home.